All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi Stadium for the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show after training camp practice number 18 as we see the 49ers get ready to take on the Raiders in Las Vegas for the final preseason game. Preseason game number 3, and Kyle Shanahan has said he wants the starters to start. How much they'll play, we'll have to see. Now, the theme today here in Santa Clara was clearly, this is the Isaac Guerendo show at this point. The Niners drafted Guerendo. They traded up in the 4th round to get him. They really like him. He's big, strong, fast, and he looks really, really impressive when you see him working out on the field. And then the very first practice, he suffered a sprain or a hamstring pull. And so he really hasn't been out there ever since. Now they put him out there. Today they handed him the ball a bunch of times. They threw him the ball a couple times. He looked good. And he's going to play against the Raiders in this 3rd and final preseason game. And I think if he plays well, he's got probably the inside track at being the 5th running back on this team. We'll see. He wears 49 in practice, and you watch him run around. You look at this guy, and you're like, wow, this guy moves really well. So a lot of run today for Guerendo at practice. A lot of run for Patrick Taylor, the backup running back. And I would imagine you're going to see a lot of Guerendo and a lot of Patrick Taylor. And to me, I thought Cody Schrader looked pretty good. But if Guerendo plays well in this game, I think Guerendo gets the roster spot and Cody Schrader gets sent through waivers. And will Cody Schrader pass through waivers and make it to the practice squad? I don't know. He's a very popular college player. And if you're a popular college player, there's a bunch of people that really liked you in the draft, most likely. There's a chance somebody will have had a high grade on Cody Schrader in the draft. But I really think it's Guerendo's job to lose. He's big, he's strong, he's fast, he can catch the ball out of the backfield, he's explosive. In a lot of ways, he could be a dynamic, special player that makes a big impact on this team for years to come. So I know this. The 49ers will not risk losing Isaac Guerendo at the cutdown. So he's either going to make this team or he's going to wind up hurt and on the IR for the year. They'd rather redshirt him for the year than lose him in a waiver claim to another team. So look for Guerendo and Taylor this weekend, or in this 3rd and final preseason game against the Vegas Raiders. Defensive players who stood out today. We saw Womack make a nice play against the run. Yatir Gross-Matos flashed. He made a couple nice plays. Jalen Graham continues to look really, really good. He looked great in the game, and he made some nice plays against the run. I asked Nick Sorensen about Graham and what he needs to do to, be a starter, and he dodged the question. The reality is that that room is stacked. I mean, you got Fred Warner, you got Dre Greenlaw. Greenlaw's probably coming back in December. That would be my guess. You got Devondre Campbell. So you've replaced Greenlaw with a veteran, but you also have Jalen Graham, D. Winters, Tatum Bethune, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, Curtis Robinson. I mean, it's a dynamic room with a lot of good players. Guys who can play special teams, guys who have a big-time future playing linebacker from scrimmage. So Jalen Graham is, so he basically just said it's going to be really tough at the cutdown who gets cut. I can't imagine they would cut Jalen Graham. To me, it's going to come down to a decision between Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles and Tatum Bethune for the 6th linebacker spot, and I think I would go with Tatum Bethune. There were 2 highlights today in practice that have to be brought up. One was just an absolute dime Tanner Mordecai corner route to Jacob Cowing, about 35 yards down the field, and he just put it right on Cowing's hands. The coverage wasn't bad. The defender was within a body's length of the receiver. The receiver didn't have that much separation, but Mordecai just threw a frozen rope on the corner route to Cowing, who plucked it out of the air with both hands. To me, that was the best play of the day, for sure. Perfect throw by Mordecai, perfect route by Cowing. Cowing is looking fantastic, by the way. He had another great day. He caught 5 or 6 balls, including that one right there from Mordecai. The second highlight of the practice, Renardo Green had a PBU on a pass that went from, it was a pass that went to Cowing. I think it came from Dobbs. It might have been from Purdy, but Renardo Green, just absolute perfect coverage, perfect man-to-man, tight coverage on Cowing on the goal line. And the one thing about Green that I love is that he's just so competitive that he shows up at the catch point a lot. And if you watch him for a day, you say, wow, that was a nice play. But it looks like it could have been accidental. Like, man, he timed that perfect. But when you watch this cat every day, he does it every day. He arrives at the ball on time. It's similar to a quarterback who plays on time. When you're a cornerback and you know you're down in distance and you're really competitive and you play on time and you show up at the ball, that's a trait. That's a skill. That's a skill. And there's no doubt that Renardo Green's got that skill, man. He closes on the ball. He plays on time. He's very competitive at the catch point. He's playing the game for keeps, you know. He's playing the game for the win. He's not just running around out there trying to look good in a uniform. This guy's playing for the W. So I thought he had that play on Cowing. Cowing ran a nice tight route, and Green was in his hip pocket and then threw the hand out right at the right time. Perfect little PBU for Renardo Green. So great play by Mordecai to find Cowing, and then great play by Renardo Green to deny Cowing. I think the pass was from Dobbs, but I'm not really sure. Once again, Jacob Cowing, a tremendous day. Caught a number of balls, had a touchdown catch in the flat from Dobbs late in the practice. That was impressive as well. Jacob Cowing looks really, really good. There was a fumble at one point in the practice, and Dominic Pooney jumped on the ball. Now, it looks like a nothing play, right? It's a fumble in the middle of a hot summer practice. Who cares? And, you know, these guys don't even have full pads on, and nobody's here to watch it. There's no fans in the stands. But Dominic Pooney popped on that ball like it was Super Bowl Sunday and his life depended on it. And it's that kind of play that coaches notice when you're watching film. Pooney doesn't need to make that play to make this team. But when you see a guy jump on a ball like that, that's impressive. That tells you how he's wired. That's another indication. Dominic Pooney shows up to win. How do you know that? Because in the middle of the summer, he falls on a fumble in the middle of a field, and, you know, I'm sure he's going to get a couple attaboys in the film room. Other than that, you know, it's just the satisfaction of knowing you're a competitive son of a gun. So way to go, Dominic Pooney. I really love seeing that. Also, Robbie Chosen, Tay Martin, Tay Martin was used in this practice as a kickoff return guy. It's the first time I've seen him used as a kickoff returner. He's trying to make himself more valuable as we get closer to the cut down, I'm sure. And then Robbie Chosen, though, and Martin had key drops today. And when I say key drops, it's just from the standpoint of they're both trying to establish some momentum towards making the roster. Neither guy probably is currently on the roster. They both need to impress, and they both dropped key passes today in practice. It's never good to see. And then lastly, J.P. Mason had another run that just was like, good thing there was no defenders there, because he would have just ran right through them like a hot knife through butter. Mason has at least 1 or 2 runs every day that makes you go, God, this guy needs more carries. God, if they only gave him more carries, what would he do? And Guerendo gives you a lot of those same vibes as well, because he's also big, strong, fast. But Mason runs right now with conviction and body lean and purpose, and he's reading blocks, and he just looks fantastic. He had a run in this practice today where he just got it rolling, and it was like he could have run over anybody on defense. I mean, he just looks terrific. He looks really, really good, and he has all summer. He really has. All right, that's going to do it for the recap. We got a chance after practice to talk to Nick Sorensen. He says the linebacker cut's going to be a very difficult cut to make. Sorensen seems like every time we talk to him, he's a little bit more comfortable talking to the media. And then we had a chance to talk to Jalen Graham, and I said to Jalen, I said, man, do you got like a split personality? Because in the locker room and in the, off the field, He's a fun-loving, easygoing guy who's laughing at jokes, and he's like a big kid running around, smiling, laughing, having fun, easygoing. On the field, the guy's a straight assassin. He's just a killer. He just wants to absolutely kill you, slash your throat, and kill you. I mean, he's just that kind of a guy. He's just on the field, and I asked him about it. He's like, yeah, we're all kind of like that, and it is kind of true. It's a violent, physical game. And then Grant asked him, he's like, what is your, on-field personality? And he's like, fast and physical and violent. And that's exactly it. He looks like fast and physical and violent. I might even mix in an adjective like angry. On the football field, Jalen Graham looks like a terror. Like he just wants to kill you. And then you talk to him in the locker room afterwards or during the week, and he's just like easygoing, fun-loving guy. Reminds you of, a college kid. And just an easygoing dude who loves life and loves his teammates and is just chill. On the field, he just wants to kill you. He just wants to absolutely destroy you. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And the Niners have quite a linebacker room between Graham and Bethune, who looks fantastic. He's got 18 tackles in 2 preseason games. Curtis Robinson, all these guys, the entire linebacking room. D. Winters, they all look great. Absolutely fantastic. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles for sponsoring this video. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.